Some people will say, yeah, well, I got a trick for you, Father. At the Wedding Feast of Cana, the bread and the wine, or the water that became the wine, tasted like wine. Didn't taste like water. Looked like wine. Didn't look like water. When I go to Mass, it looks like bread. Looks like wine. That's a great point. I'm sure the church and Jesus never thought about that before. Jesus is like, oh yeah, what an oversight. Oh my gosh. I can't believe what I did at the Last Supper. I totally botched the whole thing. Clever people. Yeah. Let me tell you this, actually. And you will be too when I get done telling you this. I am so very, 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 very glad that when Jesus turned the bread into his body and the wine into his blood, that it remained with the appearances of bread and wine. Imagine, Father, imagine being a priest at a church, trying to invite the entire city to come to Mass, and be like, what are you going to do at that Mass? Well, we're going to gnaw on raw flesh, and we're going to take cups filled with blood, and we're just going to go ahead and scoop them on down our throats. Oh yeah, the vampire church. Got it. Not coming, right? I'm making a kind of a joke here, but I want to come back to something that is so normal. The objection of so many people is, how am I supposed to believe that this is his body and his blood if it still looks like bread and it still looks like wine? He was doing you a favor. It is repulsive. It is repulsive to think about gnawing on someone's flesh and drinking down someone's blood when it looks like flesh and it looks like blood. It's repulsive. And in fact, because it seemed so repulsive in the early days when Jesus first spoke about it in John chapter 6, the Jews said this, how is this man going to give us his flesh to eat? And they were grossed out. And they should have been. If when Jesus took the bread and the wine, when he changes it into his body and blood, which it truly is, if it also looked like his flesh and tasted like his blood, none of you would ever go to Mass. Nobody ever in the history of Christianity would ever go to Mass. It's so disgusting to think about. But yet it's the objection that we make, as if that's what we want instead. No, I want it to look like his flesh. I want it to taste like his blood. No, you don't. You really don't. But a bunch of people left that day in John chapter 6. This saying is too hard. Who can believe it? She was like, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do it in a way that you can stomach it. So he can change one substance into another substance. We've already established that. He can appear the way he wants to appear and disappear the way he wants to disappear. We've already established that. So what if he wants to appear in one substance having become another substance? He can probably do that. It would logically follow.